Welcome back guys, today let's build an epic black hole in Unity. I've previously done a similar black hole effect a long time ago, but now let's see an updated version of this, with new tricks in a newer Unity version with VFX Graph and Shader Graph. As usual, all of these effects along with many other assets are available on my Patreon page, so you can use them in your own games and support the channel. Links in the description. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So let's begin with a very quick overview of this scene, because I know some of you want to know how this was made. Basically, if you go to Window, in rendering you get lighting, and in here you have environment, and on the skybox material we have added this galaxy material, which is basically a cube map. And by that I mean on the shader drop down menu you can select skybox/cube map. And then you can download any galaxy texture or create one yourself, but what's important is that you set it to cube map. Texture shape, cube. And there you have it, you get this very cool environment. Alright, so let's begin by creating a VFX Graph, which I have previously installed on the package manager, Visual Effect Graph. We have all of these templates, but we can start with the minimal system. Rename it to VFX Graph _ black hole and double click to open it up. This VFX Graph in particular is going to be used to create the illusion of a black hole at the center. We are going to use a sphere. So let's call it exactly that. To make sure this VFX Graph is visible, even if the camera is not pointing at the black hole, we want to set the bounds is set to manual and increase the volume to 100 in the X, Y and Z. To begin emitting a particle, we go up here on the spawn and use a single burst. In this case of one particle. And it's going to live forever since we don't set the lifetime. We have the update particle and then the output, which is what's going to be visible. This is where the particles are rendered. And in our case, we need to replace this output because we want to use shader graph. We want to create a specific shader. We can use output particle shader graph mesh. And the mesh we are going to use here is the sphere. If you don't see one, you can download Blender, create a sphere and export it as an FBX. But usually Unity comes with a default one, and it should do it. Now I'm gonna dock this window right here so we can see what's happening. And let's drag and drop the VFX Graph to the scene, reset the transform, and this is what we should have so far. Now if we really want that black hole with bright edges, we need a shader. So with a right click, I'm gonna go ahead and create Shader Graph, URP Unlit Shader Graph, which means it isn't affected by the light of the scene. Let's call it Fresnel Shader. And then the idea is to create a Fresnel effect, this node right here. We can expose some of these parameters. As a matter of fact, we can create a color parameter, so we can control the color of the Fresnel. Let's open the graph inspector. We want to make sure the mode is HDR, so we can control the intensity, say the color is white, and then drag and drop it more or less around here, because now we want to multiply it with the Fresnel effect. Here we go, and connect to the base color. As you can see, we have this power node, which is quite useful to control. So let's create a float for that, call it the Fresnel power, with a default value of 1, and connect it right here. Lastly, very important, on the graph settings, let's make sure we enable support VFX Graph so it works with VFX Graph. Don't forget to save the shader, and then let's go back to VFX Graph, and once we click here, it should show up. Here we go, Fresnel Shader. Now it's a little bit up to you, but in our case we want to increase the size. So I'm going to use a set size with a value of 1. And in this case we are going to go with a different aesthetic. So this is the color we are going to use, but with a high Fresnel power of around 10. So we can get that bright ring around the black hole, right? Fantastic. Now let's move on to the rings around the black hole. With Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, copy this sphere VFX Graph and call it the ring VFX Graph. Now we need a very specific mesh to put around the black hole. And if you don't have Blender, go ahead and download it. It's very easy to pick up, and I will guide you through. Basically, we are going to create a ring mesh, kind of a donut, not really, but kinda. And we can start by deleting everything on your scene, make sure it's clean, and then with Shift A you can add a circle. We can scale it up to 7, press S and then 7 and then enter. Here we go. And let's enter in edit mode so we can edit this mesh with tab, and we can extrude with E and press S to immediately scale it a value of 0.15 and then press enter, and this is what you should get. Now we need to add a few edge loops. It's going to increase the poly count, so be careful there. You can press Ctrl R and scroll up to add 3 edge loops, and that's it. If we press 7 and the numpad to go to the top orthographic view, we can select this ring right here while holding Alt and shrink them down a little bit towards the center. We are doing this because now if we press 1 on the numpad to go to the side orthographic view, we want to proportionally edit this, and by that I mean that if we go up here and click on this icon, we are going to turn on proportional editing. This way, if we push this up and scroll up or down with the mouse wheel, we can control the influence, how much it influences nearby vertices. We want to push this a little bit up, not too much, just so it has some volume, like this. Next step is the UV mapping. If we enter the edit mode, select everything, we can press U to access the UV mapping menu and select light map pack. And this is the trick we are going to show you. You get a bunch of squares, no worries about that. Just select one of these in face mode, select everything again. As you can see, that quad has become active, and now we can do something called follow active quads. You can press OK and you get this stripe, which is very useful because this means it's unwrapped properly now, and we can fit this properly on this square by making sure that we enable constraint to image bounds, push it to the center and scale this to the sides and up until it fills everything properly, and that's it. Since we are trying to achieve a very specific effect with this black hole, where the motion of the ripples all go through the same side, which is counterclockwise, we are going to go to object mode by pressing tab and then pressing Shift D to duplicate this, and then press escape so it stays right there, but with R rotated only on the x-axis 180 degrees. This way we have this disc, this kind of very extremely flat donut. And now let's enter the edit mode so we can go to UVs, because we need to flip them if we want to make sure the ripples go all in the same direction. So we can mirror this on the x-axis, and that's it. And if we show again the other circle, this is what we get. We just need to join them with Ctrl J or search for join. Here we go, it's one mesh now. And I know this is weird, but we need to flip this again and mirror this on the X again so it's properly mapped. Feel free to test it without all of these steps and you will understand the result easily. Now we can rename this to Ring01 and export as an FBX. Make sure you turn on selected objects and export to your project. Now back in VFX Graph we can assign the ring mesh right here. We are currently using the same shader, the Fresnel Shader, but for this specific case we need a new one. So let's go ahead and create the shader graph, URP unlit once again, and call it the scroll shader. We are going to pan a texture and add a couple of effects. And right from the start, we want to say that the surface type is transparent and the blending mode to additive, or you can turn on allow material override to edit these values as you go, and very importantly turn on support VFX Graph. This shader begins by sampling a texture, an external texture, which means we can create a text 2D parameter for the noise texture. For now, I'm going to assign the one that I have here, but we will show you in a moment how to create one, and then drag and drop the noise texture parameter right here and connect to the sample text 2D. This is what we get. You can assign a default texture for now. In this shader, what's important is the ability to control its offset. So let's create a tiling and offset node, and then let's create two parameters, one for the tiling and then another for the offset, a vector 2 called noise tiling with a default value of 1 by 1 connected to the tiling, and then another vector 2 for the noise speed. We can use a default value of 1 on the X only. If we want to automatically animate this, we are going to multiply this noise speed with a time node. Otherwise you can pan this manually without the time node. Connect it to the offset, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, the texture itself is already panning, which was the main objective. Now, as for the texture itself, we can show you how to create one. If you go ahead and search for Material Maker, which is a tool based on nodes to create textures, it's very useful. You can download it for free or contribute to the project. Once you open it up, this is what you get, and we want to begin by searching for shape, because with a shape we can say it's a circle. As you can see on the preview to the window, we get a preview of the node you are selecting. First parameter is for the sides count, and the second one is to control the size. We want to begin with something small like 0.2, and last parameter is to control the fade. Let's set it to 1. we get this tiny circle, this tiny blob of light. And there's a cool trick. If we connect this to a tiler node, it will tile this in whatever way we want. We have tested a couple of values, and these are the ones that are best for the texture we are going to create. Feel free to test different values, but essentially the tile X and the tile Y, you can set it 10 by 10, so you can increase the intensity. Overlap is how much they can overlap with each other. Let's set it to 4, and now let's scale them up with 0.7 on the X and on the Y. Fixed offset to 1, so they move horizontally, but most importantly, random offset. So they go all crazy, and we break that grid pattern. Random rotation, since they are circles, we don't notice it, but random scale of 0.8, and we get some circles that are bigger, others that are smaller, and that's great, because this will allow us to invert this grayscale, and we get a pretty cool texture that looks like skin under a microscope or some kind of weird component under a microscope. But we can go even further and use a blur, a Gaussian blur for example. Increase the grid size first so it has a better resolution, and that will fix it. Or you can play with the sigma value. And to finish off, a colorized node will do the trick just fine if we push the black key to the right. As you can see, we get even more darker values, and that creates a pretty interesting contrast, which is super useful for our texture. And to export this, we can click on this icon right here. You can rename it, choose the resolution, and click export as image, typically as a PNG. Now back to Unity, we need to mask that out to soften those edges. It's very simple to create a mask. Basically, we create another sample texture and another text 2D parameter. Call it mask texture. Drag and drop it, connect to the sample text 2D, and then multiply these two sample textures. Depending on the gradient that we feed to the mask texture, we can fade some edges, which is extremely useful. So let's see how to create that gradient. Fortunately, it's a very easy texture. Back to Material Maker, we can begin by searching for gradient, literally, and we can rotate it minus 90 degrees, so it fades from the bottom to the top, because the UVs were made in that way. And the cool thing is that we can edit our gradient. For example, we can add a key more or less around here, and make sure it's not that dark, and then play with it. As you can see, we can leave it more or less around here, because we want a bigger range for the darker values. And that's it. We can go ahead, click that button to export it, choose the resolution and where to export it, rename it as well, and then go back to Unity. Now once you have added the gradient to the mask texture, all we need now is a way to control the color of this shader. So let's create a color parameter, make sure it's in HDR mode with white color by default, and then multiply these two together and connect only to the base color, because for the alpha, for the transparency, we want to split these and connect only the alpha. Back to VFX Graph, we can assign the scroll shader. Here we go, that's much better. As you can see, we already have a mini black hole, awesome. And we can, for example, play with the noise styling, so we can have more rings around it, or use a different gradient texture, depending on how much you want to dissolve. Basically, if you go back to Material Maker, you can use the same technique, create a gradient node, rotate it minus 90 degrees, and in this case we want to clip the dark values even more, which means we can place a key more or less around here, say it's a dark gray, and the last key, it's gonna be very light gray. And then you can go ahead and export it once again, call it gradient02, and then you can adjust the color obviously, and adjust the intensity so it's less or more bright. The speed, in this case, yeah, we are going to use these values so it rotates on the opposite direction and slower, because it's a black hole. We don't want it to be super fast, even though this is a stylized black hole and not a super realistic one, but it looks awesome. And it looks even better if we increase these rings with the set size. We can also set the angle here or on the initialized particle. So we can rotate this horizontally, it was vertical, even though we are in space and there's no orientation, but it looks better. And in case you wanted to know, that's how you do it. 90 degrees on the X, and then you can adjust the size of the sphere, for example, so it's a little bit more proportional with the rings. And basically, you can also use a set scale on the rings to control only a certain axis. For example, this ring, it's a little bit thicker, so we are going to flat it out on the Z-axis a little bit, 0.7 for example. Now the cool thing with VFX Graph is that we can use this system and output different things. So let's copy this output, for example, connect the update right here, and in this case we are going to use a different noise, this noise texture right here, that we can see right now how to create, because it creates a very different feeling, as you can see. Basically, back to Material Maker, we want to begin with a noise, a sharp noise. We can increase its sharpness, its definition, to 0.8 more or less, and scale it up on the X and on the Y to a value of 10. And now how many times we want this to fall? Let's increase it to 1. As you can see, we get a very distinct noise texture already. We can leave iterations at 4, play with the persistence, maybe 0.7, and that should get us really close to what we need. With the colorize node now we can control those dark values, we can increase them, and if we want to add even more noise to this, we can use a dirt node, which is literally dirt. We just need to increase its scale to 3, and we can put these two together literally with a math node, but we want to divide A with B, and we get this very bright texture. Try to imagine the opposite of this. As a matter of fact, you don't need to imagine, because if you use the invert node, you will get exactly that, and it looks like tin foil, basically. That's what we were aiming for, kinda. You can export up there, rename it. Now you can even switch between two gradients if you want this to be less or more visible. We can decrease the intensity of the color, as well as the speed. And we didn't even touch the size, only the gradient and the noise texture, and we get a totally different feeling in terms of the rings, which is pretty cool. So that's it, folks. For those who want to take this even further, we actually made a second part of this tutorial where we polish all of this exclusive for our patrons. If you are interested, it's available on my Patreon page. You can also get this project as well as many other assets from there. I want to say a big thank you to each patron, and as usual a quick shout out to the top tier patrons, which are Albert, Amber Shia, Angel Mata, Anna Tronci, Ashkon Kalkali, Barker Kumova, Boris Radev, Chaos Games, Diego Marcos, Introversal, Eric Orner, Frosty40, Gabriel De Chichi, Ignacio Garrido, Jade, Ginuga 4, Joseph Balacio, Kirlian Silvestre, Leandro De Ricio, Link Dimension, Matt Mahon, Madrick Cambie, Oitsk, Pradip Sen, Rain Masked Sage, Ryan Lessard, Spock the Grey, Stefan B. Junko, Vulcan S, Verisuta, Whatever Marta, Rock, Pinching Pam, and me J. Kim. Thank you all very much for your support, it's really appreciated. I hope everyone enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!